Black and silver in the air tonight. Blue flames burning under stadium lights. We roar loud, we don't back down. Panther hearts beat in this town. Break it down now, play by play. We live for the fight every game day. From bright suits to the roaring crew. Black, silver, blue, we're coming through. Dave's got the play to keep us alive. Bright swings it deep like a panther dive. We break it down, stats and scores. Postgame heat that leaves you wanting more. Live after the whistle blows. Feel the energy, it grows. Break it down now, play by play. We live for the fight every game day. From bright suits to the roaring crew. Black, silver, blue, we're coming through.
C3 Panthers podcast. Welcome back to another edition of the C3 Post Game Show. The Carolina Panthers get the win today over the New York Jets, 13-6. Man, defensive slugfest, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people said that it was a mid-off, that it wasn't very exciting. But all I give a damn about, CK, is the Carolina Panthers are 4-3, baby. We needed this. We needed the win on the road. We said this on Tuesday night. And the Panthers come away with the big-time W, man. As always, we're going to be taking your cat calls. Let your voice be heard. Let us know what you thought of the Carolina Panthers today on the road in MetLife. Call in at 252-228-5098 and leave us a message and let us know what you feel about this Carolina Panthers team. As always, I'm joined by the voice, Coach Allen. What's up, bro?
Oh man, just out here living dreams, brother. Just having another pinch me moment where we're 3 wins in a row, winning 4 of our last 5 games that we've played. It feels weird to be a winning football team again. First time since 2021, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But here we are, man. We're talking about the Panthers. It wasn't the prettiest, we'll be the first to say that. But I tell you what, I think it answered a lot of questions when it comes to this defense. It answered a lot of questions. Mike Jackson stepped up in a big way today when being targeted.
Yes.
And now he may not have the interceptions to show it. He should have come down with that one. But the dude came out and he balled. He was targeted frequently. So much so that they had to go to J.C. Horn, and then they were punished for that. So, good time to be a Panthers fan. A lot of concern going into the next week, depending upon how we're feeling about Bryce Young. But as of right now, man, it's a good day to be a Panthers fan.
Yeah, Bryce Young left the game earlier with an ankle injury sometime in the third quarter. But, dude, wow, so much to talk about. Even though it was a game that was mainly a defensive slugfest, how about this? J.C. Horn proved himself. To me, this was a career game for J.C. Horn. 2 interceptions, a one-handed interception in the back of the end zone, and then another one late in the game in the fourth quarter when he was one-on-one with, I forget who the receiver was. By the way, Tony Dunn will be
who all the receivers are, by the way.
Yeah, literally all the Jets receivers were a bunch of no-name wide receivers. By the way, Tony Dunn will be joining us. He has some family business to attend to, but he will be coming onto the show a little bit later. CK, I want to welcome some of these badass Panther fans on YouTube. We got Bill Cravens, Brandon R, Brazen Excalibur, David R, D Gross, Duke Thunders. What's up, bro? G Baby, John B. Jenkins, Justin NC, JD. What's up, bro? Nirvash, Panther Gal, Sean Butler, Supreme Lita in the building. Our girl Kristen Butler, Tux Key, and Trap X. CK, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Let's roll. Look, let's start on offense. Not a lot happening during this game. I feel like the biggest news around the Panthers for the past few weeks has been Rico Dowdle and how incredible he has been. The Panthers started with Chuba Hubbard. They decided to roll with Chuba first, and he did okay. But listen, I feel like this game has shown that Chuba Hubbard and I've been a long time defender of Chuba, but I feel like he just doesn't have that second gear that Rico Dowdle has. I feel like Rico probably towards the second half of the game started to pick up more carries. But, dude, Rico Dowdle is able to find the most thinnest margins of holes to be able to sneak through and pick up extra yardage. And I'm a fan of Chuba. I'm not selling on him. He was coming back from an injury. So I think that's something that's still relevant to speak of. But, bro, I feel like today Rico was the better of the two running backs, and it's hard to deny at this point.
It's hard to deny, but it also, if nothing else, if you took nothing else away from this, it's that you need to have a back that gets a rhythm. Like, I know that there's people who have successfully been able to do the double-headed, running back tandem and it all work out and everything like that. But I think that's like a perfectly run offense, and we just haven't been a perfectly run offense at any point. We've been good in certain occasions, average it, in certain areas. But I think for this offense to be able to run correctly, I think you need to pick a running back. And right now, picking anybody other than Rico is just absolutely ridiculous. Chuba Hubbard absolutely deserves a spot on this team. And I think he deserves to have an opportunity to tote the rock. I just don't think you should do it when Rico Dowdle is feeling rested on the sideline.
Yeah. I mean, Rico still had 80 yards. And it didn't even seem like he had that many opportunities in retrospect, but the dude was able to go out there and make a little bit of magic. The offensive line had Austin Corbett playing left guard today. Damian Lewis was inactive, and I feel like, I don't know, man, to me, this offense runs better when it runs through Rico Dowdle. No pun intended. Run, Rico, run. I feel like this is now the opportunity for us to continue to build on who we are as a football team, and pound the rock football team, playing dominant defense. CK, how about today the Carolina Panthers had 6 sacks? We only had 5 to this point up in the season, and we had 6 today alone. Man, Derrick Brown was a juggernaut out there, throwing dudes around. Everything runs through him. What did you make of our defense today? What to you was the biggest factor in our defense being so aggressive?
I saw blitz a lot more today than we had in recent weeks. I saw a lot more of Trevor Moore coming in for pressure. I've seen Trevin Wallen coming in for pressure, and those guys don't rush the quarterback very often. And so I saw Ivero do what I said last week, which is we need to get more of these blitzes to get home, especially when you're facing a team where there's some QB questions, and that's what they did. And it forced Tyrod Taylor to make some really bad decisions, and have some really bad throws. There were a couple of times we did get beat, right? J.C. Horn did get beat. It was an underthrown ball, but it was a fantastic interception by J.C. Horn there in that one-handed in the interception. I think that being able to put pressure on the quarterback was a big part of why this defense was able to succeed the way they were. Early on, they were able to carry the ball a little bit more effectively than in the past couple of weeks, but they were able to turn it on and stop the run, especially when you're forcing a team to play from behind. Coming out of the half and scoring a touchdown or scoring a field goal to go up by 10, forcing them to play by 2 scores down, forces them to keep the ball in the air, and that's what happens. J.C. Horn gets 2 interceptions.
Yeah, and also, look, we can't not leave out this. Justin Fields started the game. And listen, I've been a fan of Justin. I felt like he had a good chance to be a good quarterback in the NFL. Dude, before halftime, the fans at MetLife were booing Justin Fields. The dude was just wildly inaccurate. I feel like the Panthers defense probably had some plays that they did give up, but Justin Fields just could not capitalize on it, to the point where in the second half, they decided to roll with Tyrod Taylor. And you even saw in the first half, after they checked Justin for concussion, they bring out Tyrod for a series, and the offense just looked better with them than it did Justin Fields. But either way, the Panthers were able to stop the run again. CK, maybe you can look it up. I don't know how many yards they rushed for, but they were
The
not
Panthers or them?
the Jets.
Okay, let's look.
Yeah, the Jets, that was going to be how they were going to win. If they were going to win, they were going to run the football, and they just could not do it. The Panthers defense was aggressive. Our linebackers were flowing to the football, and they had no passing attack. The Panthers were able to, I don't want to say sell out to stop the run, but there really was no passing vertical threat at all today from the Jets. And what they did have didn't come until much later in the game when they started to drive the ball with Tyrod Taylor down the field. So, to me, our defense is continuing to get better and better and better. And now we have 3 games in a row where our defense has proven the ability to stop the run. This is big time, man. Now, listen, I've already seen people in the chat talking about the Bills and how they're coming up, and that's going to be our big opponent. That's going to be our major test at home in the bank against Buffalo. Whereas, the past 3 games in a row, we have really proven that we can shut off an entire part of their offense. Man, it could not come at a better time. And to me, our offensive secondary played our best football that we have all season.
Yeah.
Dude, J.C. Horn looks fucking incredible out there, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I listen, the dude, people still refuse to throw to him. And then when the game is on the line and they're playing from behind, they have to put the ball in the air. That's just, it has to be done. And here we are. Right. We get him down the field, and he's able to capitalize on people throwing his way. And he did it in such an impressive way. Both of those interceptions, incredibly impressive. Like impressive interceptions. Just to answer your question about rushing, we held them to under 100, which is good. It was 81 total yards, which is more than the past 2 weeks combined that the Dolphins and the Cowboys had. But still, it's under 100 for a team largely known for running the ball. They had 172 yards of receiving. Again, when you're playing from behind, you're expected to be able to have some yards through the air. But I still think J.C. Horn, fantastic. But I'm going back to Mike Jack. The game all the way up to that point, Mike Jack they had been trying to target him, and he had made some great plays multiple times, putting himself in a position where he needed to be, to where even on the broadcast, Slareth was talking about that's exactly that you don't play that any better than Mike Jack did. Great all around win. Trevin Wallace came up big on a broken play. That was the trick flea flicker or whatever you want to call it. That was that deep shot. The only thing I think is our biggest question mark, in my opinion, is Roseboom. Roseboom still making some pretty over pursuing people, allowing people to get some yards after the catch that they shouldn't have had because he's just a little too aggressive with his angles. And that's my biggest concern, along with maybe Nick Scott. But Nick Scott wasn't, outside of that hit to Justin Fields, wasn't overly concerning to me today.
Yeah, dude. I'm trying to accumulate some of these super chats here, but I don't want to make sure I don't miss any. But dude, thank you to Nirvash with the $5. He says, "Is anyone else annoyed that Canales kept subbing out Rico? He ran way better than Chuba, but Canales kept swapping them out per drive." I've seen a lot of this, CK. A lot of people are upset that basically that we didn't continue to run with the trend of just letting Rico be a beast like he has been. What do you make of that? Like, do you feel like now going forward they're going to dramatically take away the amount of snaps and reps that they're going to be giving to Chuba?
How could you? How could you? I think they're going to take away from Chuba for sure. How could you look at the performance today? They were going up against the same defense. It was not a difference. They were running the same plays for the most part, and Rico was getting yards when Chuba couldn't. Right now, in all fairness, a lot of the behind the line of scrimmage yards that Chuba had lost were because the lines, they were beating the backfield pretty quick. That defensive line of the Jets is no joke. And we saw that today in a pretty massive way. I think what I'm more concerned and perturbed by is the fact that the plan that they had today was so elementary. And what I mean by that is we have a plan. I don't want to talk about what our plan is, but we have a plan. Okay, so their plan was literally this. Chuba's one drive, Rico's the next drive. Chuba's one drive, Rico's the next drive. Chuba's one drive, Rico's. There was no creativity. I don't know why you're trying to hide. Like, after the first 2 drives, we were like, okay, now we get what he's doing. Like, what do you mean you're trying to, like, what? Why are you trying to hide that? Why could you not get something a little more creative? And instead of it being, this is Rico's turn, now we have Chuba's turn. This is Rico's turn. Like, that's weird to me. I think this only solidifies that we have to keep a running back in there to be able to develop a rhythm, to make these guys afraid to tackle him.
And I felt like a lot of the times they would leave Chuba in pass protection because they trusted him more in pass pro. And I feel like when they did, dude, he got destroyed. Like, listen, I'm not trying to come down too hard on Chuba. You know, I think that, you know, he was coming off of an injury, but he did not look great today. Another couple of these. This wasn't a super chat, but I wanted to save it. C3 Anthony says, "Hey boys, what a game! I went to the game, got the dub, 4-3, sloppy, but we will take a dub." You damn right about that, Ant. Hope you had a great time. Wallace White with the 499 says, "I think the debate is over. Chuba can't do what Rico does with the same opportunities. The carry split should be 60-40 Rico at least." Duke Thunders with the $5 says, "I think Chuba is still hurt. Even on his longest run, he looked like he had a flat tire." I can agree with that. The burst and the explosion that we have seen from Chuba before was just not there. It just wasn't there, man. And Supreme Lita has been a member for 37 months, man. Appreciate you, brother. If you would like, boys, hit that subscribe button. Join for $1.99 a month. That helps us continue to grow. CK, but you see, we take a couple cat calls. I'll load up a couple more, but let's see what the fans are having to say about this victory here in MetLife Stadium today. What you say, man? The number is 252-228-5098. Let your voice be heard on the longest running Panthers podcast on the internet.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
The way this game is looking, my fault. It's showtime. Lou from Fort Myers. But the way this game is looking, we're going to lose to these fuck-ass Jets. We're going to lose to the 0-6 Jets. Offense, I don't know what the fuck is going on.
In the middle of the...
If I see this motherfucker throw the ball in the dirt one more fucking time, bro, it's going to genuinely piss me off. And 2, why the fuck are we splitting drives with Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard? I'm going to say, I don't give a fuck we paid the man. If Rico Dowdle's the better running back, then you fucking put him in. I don't care if Chuba Hubbard has to be a third down back because that's what he used to be. He used to be a third down fucking back. But, hey, this offense needed to tighten the fuck up. Real shit. This offense needs to tighten the fuck up. And that late hit by Nick Scott, in my opinion, wasn't really late. That nigga was on the 5-yard line, Justin Fields slid towards him and maybe moved the yard. So
the fastest slide I've ever seen.
Dirty intentional hit, but bro, the way this offense looking like, bro, we gonna fucking lose this game, bro. And if we win it, it's gonna be like 10-6 or like 9-6, some bullshit.
It wasn't horribly off.
Well, yeah, I mean, so listen, we were even, because me and you were watching the game together, and we were saying, dude, it felt like we were in danger of being lulled to sleep, right? Yeah. Because the offense really wasn't doing much of anything. And then Bryce goes out in the middle of the game, and he sort of injures his ankle. Yeah, he got stepped on. And we're like, oh, no, dude, there was, are we going to do the cardiac cats thing all over again?
Yeah.
And we were able to hold on, but in the middle of that game, it did look like it was open to anyone that was willing to take it. And, the credit to the Jets defense, they were able to shut down, for the most part, what we wanted to do, and that's a credit to them. Quinnen Williams is still a monster. I don't care what anyone says. Sauce Gardner made some good plays, but then he also left the game early with a concussion. So, yeah, man, to me, it's a great game because you have a victory, but there's a lot of film to go back and look at all the, to quote Ron Rivera, the missed opportunities. So there's a lot of that. Yeah. There's a lot of good film for us to catch up on. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say this because, I think somebody in the chat talked about you can win games with average QB play. And I think it brings up a good point. Cody may disagree with me on this point, but I felt like there was and to be fair, there's also a part of this that Andy Dalton hasn't had a chance to mesh with this offense, right? But I felt like there was a tangible difference between what we saw from Bryce Young, even though the scoreboard wasn't rolling. But what we saw from Bryce Young versus Andy Dalton couldn't have been, in my opinion, any more different. Like the third down situation, the situation with regard to navigating the pocket, things like that. I just felt like Andy Dalton was not necessarily the same level of quarterback that Bryce Young was. Now, if he has a chance to start next week, does he mesh with the offense a little more and maybe look like he's the same or not better? Possibly. But I don't think that. I think we did see a difference between what our quarterbacks are and see that Bryce Young is an important component to this offense.
People are going to get mad at me, man. I'm not disagreeing with you. I do believe that Bryce gives us the better chance. But to me, if we're able to effectively run the football, I'm okay with Andy Dalton taking a couple deep shots. Obviously, I want Bryce to be able to be in there. I think that we do need him back to have the best chance of winning. But to me, for the Carolina Panthers right now, everything that we do still flows through this run game. And I highlighted the chat. We got to know the super chat that I wanted to bring up because Solid Jakin said, are we going to ignore Excel's breakout game? So, dude, Excel had a touchdown. He had that big time catch from Andy Dalton. Yeah, almost had a second. You can argue that Bryce maybe kind of underthrew him early in the first quarter on what would have been a touchdown. But then late in the game, Andy Dalton throws a bomb to him, comes down with it, and that was the dagger to, put the ceiling touch to the Jets today. Was it a breakout game for Xavier Legette?
It was when you look at the numbers. The dude had 10 targets on the day. I can help you out in figuring out his specific stats if you guys are interested. Xavier Legette had 11 targets. One of those was that touchdown that was dropped, but it was underthrown, or it was most likely meant for Coker and just somehow a broken play of some sort, just based on the way that Coker was running in that same direction. But that was one of the 9 out of 11. So take that one out of the equation, 9 out of 10. And of those 9, he did 92 yards and a touchdown. The dude did show up, and he made big time catches during big time moments. And that is what you want from Excel. Now, I will say this much, and I think we all can agree with this, or at least me and Cody can say this. We said at one point at the very beginning of the game when he caught one of those passes, he just doesn't seem to have an explosion, right? Now, I don't want to take anything away from what he did, because he did absolutely he did what he needed to do today. But his after the catch, I thought for sure what we would see from him is going to be a lot more explosive. And when I saw him get the ball, it just felt like he moved at a different level than what other people did. Like he didn't have that explosion.
Maybe he's still dealing with some lingering effects to that hamstring injury?
Maybe.
Because, there was that point where his legs sort of kind of got bent up a little bit, and it just looked like maybe he's still kind of dealing with some of that. I don't know, but it just didn't seem to me like he has that explosion that we're used to him having.
Well, what I think he might have is that speed that builds up, not that immediate speed, because what we saw in that play that Andy Dalton, technically underthrew him on was he just he started out, but he accelerated incredibly quickly. Like, so it's maybe he doesn't get to his top speed super fast, but his top speed is really, really fast. And so what that tells me is you might need to get that dude down the field more often and get the ball out down the field a lot more quickly. I don't know, man. I just an observation Cody and I had while we were watching the game. But I will say Anthony brings up a pretty interesting conversation piece. This was Coker's debut back into the into the lineup, and he walked away with not a single catch. And does that mean? I want to see what the snap count is before we jump to any conclusions. But is that a Coker is not really getting the separation, or is it they're easing him into the game plan?
Well, remember the near touchdown to Xavier Legette in the first quarter?
Yes.
Right. Well, to me, that pass seemed like it could have just as easily been for Jalen Coker in the back of the end zone as it was Xavier Legette. And you made the point, too, that the play calling didn't seem great on that play. Like there was two guys that were like too near to each other.
Right.
But I don't know, man. Like, again, knowing that Coker is coming off of injuries, I'm not going to hold it against him too much. But I think that in the future, we're going to have to target him more and get him involved in this offense because Hunter Renfrow is inactive. So there was no Hunter Renfrow today, and he's come up with some big time third and fourth down conversions in games in the recent weeks. So, we traded away Adam Thielen because of the presence of Jalen Coker. So at a certain point, we're going to have to get him more involved in this offense, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's take another cat call.
What's up, y'all? It's Lucas from Forest City.
What up, Blue?
3 in a row, y'all. 3 in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I want to give a shout-out to the player of the game for this game, obviously, J.C. Horn.
Yeah!
We drafted J.C. in 2021. I was pissed off because we didn't draft a guy that got benched in this game, Justin Fields. And in 2021, we had washed our hands from Teddy Bridgewater, and I was wanting a quarterback. And I was like, let's get Justin Fields. He was the second quarterback, probably the second best quarterback in that draft at the time. Trevor Lawrence was the first, and then he was probably the second. We went ahead and we got J.C. Horn. I was pissed off. I was like, damn, why didn't we get a quarterback? I understand now because Justin Fields just got benched by his third NFL team, and J.C. had just got 2 interceptions in this game. Obviously, the player of the game. I'm glad I'm not a GM in the NFL, obviously. Thank you, J.C. Keep pounding. Go Panthers. Let's go whoop Buffalo's ass. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. CK, what does this make you feel like our chances are, with Buffalo coming up at home? We're undefeated at home. We've seen that they're vulnerable against the run. We saw that with Atlanta. Do you feel like we have a chance to beat Buffalo? I mean, it's a tall order. They're better than the Jets. Their offense is definitely better than the Jets. But, dude, I feel like any given Sunday and with the momentum that the Panthers are riding on, like, I don't think this is a cakewalk for Buffalo.
No, it's not a cakewalk. Just based on the way the defense has been able to hold people to the run in the run game. When you hold the run game of Buffalo to not really being very good, that is in some cases been a recipe for Josh Allen to go off, right? I don't know who they have as wide receivers that I'm going to be afraid of outside of Shakir, and that's going to be interesting to see how we play this team with J.C. Horn and Mike Jack having the games they did today. The question really becomes: is Bryce Young in the lineup? If Bryce Young isn't in the lineup, I'll be honest with you, I'm worried. I don't know that I don't know that I would trust Andy Dalton to come in and play this full game and actually win the game. Is it possible? Absolutely. I think so. But I think we need him in the lineup for this team to have a chance against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah. No, dude, well said. Dude, Bryce, it's going to be very interesting to see what the long-term effects of Bryce's injury are. Let's take another call.
C3 Panther Nation, is your boy Preston from Hickory. And there's a lot to unpack in this game. First off, defense. That defense was on it today. That was a stingy-ass defense. I love that. We definitely packed our defense on the road. Derrick Brown and J.C. Horn proven why they are all pros. They were number one overall picks. They were first round picks, and they are all pros most definitely because those guys are monsters. PP is a monster. I think it was like 4 or 5 batted passes at the line. And then, of course, you got J.C. Horn. That guy's not even getting thrown to most of the game. And when he does get thrown, the 2 times he gets thrown to during the game was picked up. So defense, I'm most definitely happy about the win, and I'm happy about the defensive performance. On the offensive side of the ball, number one, we got a problem. We got a problem at the QB position. Hopefully it's not going to be too bad, whatever's going on with Bryce. I mean, the game just ended, so hopefully what's going on with Bryce isn't going to be terrible, but I'm praying for him. That's all right. Now, what you feel about him, that is our number one overall draft pick quarterback. So, and we know Andy's not the QB of the future. So hopefully he's going to be okay. Oh, and Chuba proved to me today that Rico is a better back.
Yes.
And, I mean, can we just give Rico Chuba's money? I mean, is that possible? Because I would rather have Rico. I'm not hating on Chuba. I wish him the best. He's still a Panther. But, damn, Rico's a way better back, and he proved it today. That's all I got today, boys. Hey, victory Sunday, Monday, and every day until we got to get ready for these Bills. I'm going to enjoy this one all the way until next week because I'm kind of nervous. But, hey, keep pounding, boys. Keep pounding. It's a victory.
Keep pounding. Keep pounding. See, I almost feel bad for Chuba. Like, the dude has busted his ass for a long time here in Carolina.
Yeah.
And now after 3 games, the entirety of our fan base is like, Chuba who? Bro, give his paycheck to Rico, dog. It's like, I feel bad for Chuba, but I also think that, maybe that coming back from that injury is still not quite to full form. Some of the people said that in the chat as well. We're going to have to see, man. I mean, I think we're going to need all hands on deck when we play Buffalo. But I don't know. That's tough. I mean, I'm still a fan of Chuba. I've been a fan of Chuba forever, but
knowing how injuries happen to running backs, I don't think that we should be gung ho about the idea of moving on from Chuba Hubbard. I think he sticks around for the long haul with this contract, but I do think until we don't have a need until Rico shows us otherwise, Rico has to be the primary guy. That does not mean, I want to make it clear, I don't know that I'm prepared to say that Rico is head and shoulders better than Chuba, because there were a few times that Rico had just wide open a pass opportunity or something like that, and you didn't really see that same opportunity for Chuba, right? So I'm willing to give some grace on that front. I'm not prepared to say that Chuba doesn't deserve a spot here, and I think that we need to hold on to him for as long as his contract is going to allow us to do so, because I think he's still an asset.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, they felt that he was better in pass protection. I don't necessarily know that was what happened today, but that is sort of how they're thinking, how they're feeling. So let's take another cat call. By the way, if I end up passing or missing someone's cat call, my apologies. I'm having to download them, and StreamYard doesn't let you download as many as it previously did, so kind of having to do a juggling act here. But Tony will be back at some point during the stream, and we'll continue to get them all. Let's take another one.
Hey guys, Chuck from Elizabeth City here.
What's up, Chuck?
What a game, huh? I tell you what, hats off to J.C. Horn, Derrick Brown. That defense cooked today. I really want to also give a shout out to our punter Martin, man. He really flipped the field on a couple possessions. Now,
absolutely,
Coker needs another week. Xavier signed. I like the duo running backs, but I tell you one thing right now: the biggest problem I had today Andy Dalton back to throw takes the sack. You got to throw it away, or we needed to run the ball because in my opinion at that time, we're in field goal range to go up 16-3. You're still making it a 2-score game. That was the biggest problem I had with that. But honestly, guys, a win is a win. Hey, the Jets played Denver close in Europe a week ago. I'll take the win on the road like this. We'll find out next week exactly what we have. What we have playing at home against a good Buffalo team. Regardless of who they lost to lately, that's still a challenge. But keep pounding, because that's 3 in a row, and we got a winning record, guys.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't emphasized that enough, CK. The Carolina Panthers have a winning record. Let's go, baby.
So wild.
Let's go, dude. Celebrations. You know, it was a defensive slugfest. You know what? Ron Rivera would have loved this game. Loved it, dude. This is a
Cody,
Ron Rivera football game.
Cody, how many wins did you say the Panthers were going to have this year?
I predicted 4.
Do you think we would lose the rest of these games?
Sure fucking hope not. I'll tell you what.
So are we of the mind that maybe we're changing our answer a little bit on that?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, listen, when you put together the performances that we have, and look, we have to give credit to Ejiro Rivera. You know, just like I was wrong on my 4-win prediction, CK, I think you're firing of Ejiro Rivera in the middle of the season probably isn't happening either.
I agree. Yeah. I think he is absolutely turned around the perception of what he is as a defensive minded head coach. I am coming around to the idea that Evero might be a coordinator that we want to hang on to as long as these guys continue to play consistently. Now, I still am hesitating until we see an offense that is like considered high powered or what have you, like say, for instance, next week against the Buffalo Bills, or even the week after that against the Green Bay Packers and Josh Jacobs. That will be a big testament about what we're going to be moving forward. But when you go up against the number 5 ranked running attack in the entire NFL and hold them to under 100 yards, I think that speaks volumes to the coordinator and these players coming in and playing the way that they needed to. The thing that I still have hesitation about is the fact that he had to be told by Dave Canales to start the young guys. And so that worries me a little bit that he's of the mind that the young guys aren't worthy of starting right now.
Yeah, and but I do give Ejiro Rivera credit to at least being somewhat flexible. Last week when J.C. Horn wanted to go on George Pickens, he did let him. Derrick Brown said he wanted to be in some more pass rush situations, and Derrick Brown had 2 sacks today. So I do think that it takes us to do some reevaluating on who we thought this defense was. I even think that Trevin Wallace and Christian Roseboom deserve a ton more credit than what we were saying about them just a few weeks ago. These dudes are flying around. They're making plays. They're generally not giving up on pursuits. And we're not saying that all their plays are perfect. Sometimes there were some over pursuits, I know you pointed out. But, for the most part, this defense is playing complementary football, and we're taking the ball away. Yeah, whenever you take the ball away, that's a good indicator on who's going to get the W on that day.
Yeah, I'm willing to give some grace to Roseboom. The dude came in here, he was signed to be a backup linebacker, right? He was not intended to come in here and be anything. He has played above what I would have expected him to be. I still think he's a giant liability in the pass game, which is my main concern across the middle. There's been a few times that there's just been guys wide open that doesn't really feel like he has the ability to pursue. He doesn't have the sideline to sideline speed you'd like from a linebacker that's going to be covering the middle, especially with these tight ends that are increasingly more athletic as we're going to start seeing them. Next week's going to be a big test with Knox and Kincaid coming down. Those guys are primed to have a big game if they continue to, if this defense continues to allow these tight ends to make big plays across the middle.
Yeah. So 2 things. Shout out to Trevin Wallace. At the end of the game, Tyrod Taylor threw that pass deep down the field, and Trevin Wallace basically breaks up what would be a touchdown pass to put them right back into the game. So shout out to Trevor Wallace.
Yep.
And the other thing I wanted to say was that these next two games coming up, CK, it's the Bills at home and the Packers on the road. And my dude JD just said right now the Cards are up on the Packers. If we're able to beat these two teams, oh, baby, we're coming for the fucking NFC South, boy. What? Dude, those are teams that unanimously all Panther fans had marked down as an L before the start of the season.
Yeah.
Now we're saying that we could have a decent chance against them. Dude, that's absurd.
It's a weird world that we live in right now.
The weirdest, some would say. Let me see. Is this still Chuck? Yeah, that's Chuck. All right, let me take another one.
What it do, boys?
Supreme
Leader. This your boy Mike, aka Supreme Leader. Tony, Cody,
what up?
Greg. What it do, boys? Man. 3-game win streak. It's been a long time since we said that.
2011 or 2021.
God damn. I can't remember the last time that's happened. I'm locked in. I'm ready, boys. Like, I feel like, that first win, we was faking the funk. That second win, I was like, all right, okay. I still don't believe it. This third win, I'm not over the edge yet. But goddamn, you win the games you're supposed to win, and
that's right.
That's right.
These past 3 games has been happening. Like, fucking J.C. Horn, fucking dog, man. Like, holy hot damn. Umenwala, Umenwenwen, Umagulagu.
Umenmielen.
Oh, defense. They held up. And
Squirting.
The offense, like, I see it. Once Bryce went out, like, ooh, it was looking kind of sketchy there, but hey, I've been busy. I feel like I'm back in the game. I feel like the Panthers are back in the game. C3, y'all keep doing y'all thing. I've been watching y'all on the sidelines, and I'm there.
Love you, Mike.
And you guys are doing your thing. Keep fucking pounding, y'all.
Keep pounding, brother. Shout out to Mike Supreme. CK, let's roll with some more of these calls.
Let's do it.
Oh shit! Hey, hey! Y'all know who the fuck is? Booyaka, booyaka, booyaka! What's Gucci with my boys? What's Gucci with your Cody Lack? The one that picked us to win 4 games this season. Well, guess what? Ha!
Didn't know he was going to talk shit.
Gucci with my white Italian brother. Let's get into it, boys. Hey, we are 4-3. We are on a 3-game winning streak. And prayers up to King Bryce. Prayers up, man, because now I seen what the offense looks like without you in it. We need you back for Buffalo. And if Bryce Young is back for Buffalo, we will beat Buffalo Bills, boys. Coming here to Charlotte at the fucking bank. We will beat Buffalo. Who beholds this offense back, man? It's almost inevitable. It's like night and day. I'm so fucking stoked right now. I'm so fucking happy right now, boys. We just reached a new era of Carolina Panther football. Dave Canales didn't call a good game today, but he got the job done.
And the reason why Dave didn't call the game is because he's got this split backfield between, okay, let's give Chuba an entire possession. Oh, no, let's give Rico an entire possession. And then the halftime comes, all right, we're going to start Rico, and then Chuba, and then that shit's not going to work. It definitely held the offense back. There was no explosion today in the offense. I want to give a shout out to J.C. Horn. God damn, you fucking dog. And not just fucking J.C. Horn being an all-pro fucking football player for Carolina. I want to give a shout out to Big Grizzly. Derrick fucking Brown destroyed the fucking game single-handedly today. J.C. Horn did what he had to do, but fucking Derrick Brown destroyed.
Yep.
He dominated this fucking goddamn game today, boys.
You're not wrong.
There's so much to talk about. Holy shit, we're 4-3, boys. We're fucking 4-3.
Let's go.
Y'all know who the fuck this is. This is G, baby. Hey, oh, my white of time, brother. I got one more. I'm calling back.
I'll have to see if I got it. Look, man, dude, it bears reiterating, dude. Derrick Brown is the linchpin of our defense. Everything that we do runs through him. Nick Scorton was able to get pressure. Ramon Allen was able to get pressure. Ashawn Robinson got in the backfield. Everything flows through Derrick Brown. And CK, dare I say it, I even feel like Ejiro Rivero was brought back this year, even though last year's defense gave up the most points in an NFL season in history. Yeah. I believe that they gave Ejiro Rivero another shot because of the fact that he didn't have Derrick Brown. That's how important Derrick Brown is to this defense. Everything that we do flows around him. I feel like now that we're winning, my man will finally start to get some of the credit that he deserves as truly one of the best interior tackles in the NFL. And I love that, man. The dude deserves it. You know, we talk about all of the bad that we've been through as Panther fans. And then we imagine what it must be like to be on the team. That's why I've had so much respect for Chuba Hubbard and J.C. Horn, the guys that have been here through thick and thin. But, man, especially Derrick Brown and how important he has been for us as a defense to now continue to see him thrive. I'm fairly certain, as I'm sitting here right now, that he is going to break his sack record, which I believe is 5, I think he's had in the season. Dude, he's going to shatter that this year.
Yeah, I think there were multiple times. So a little behind the scenes, Cody and I were watching the game together, and there were multiple times where just like we couldn't help but just sit there and laugh about how he just dominated these guys off of the line of scrimmage. 2 or 3 of those sacks of the 6 that we got were at his behest. And what I mean by that last one there, and they might have credited him for a half a sack, I don't know, but he pushed his guy back 5 yards, and Princely was able to I believe it was Princely, might have been Scorton, was just able to cut right back on into the interior and get home. And I'm telling you, Derrick Brown, 2 batted balls, if not 3 batted balls. The run game still can't go. I mean, like, it's just this dude he's playing for his 3rd contract at this point in time.
Like, he's a monster.
Like, tell me that he's not going to garner the most money of a defensive tackle of anybody in the entire history of the NFL, based on the fact that he missed last year and we were the worst defense in the league, in the history of the league potentially, and he comes back this year and we're playing like a top 10 unit. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, dude, it's insane. Shout out to Derrick Brown, and we're gonna cover J.C. Horn again, even though he is the one doing the covering. But we have to talk about J.C. Horn some more. But first, let me make sure.
Oh shit!
All right, we heard that one. That was G. All right, let me get rid of that one. Now let's play this right here.
Podcast brothers, you know who this is, G Cavassier.
What up, G?
Damn, what a game, baby. Woo, 6 sacks. My Panthers had 6 sacks. The 2 rookies got a sack. Derrick Brown got 2 sacks. Robinson got a sack. The safety we picked up from the damn Raiders had a sack.
Price update.
And J.C. Horn, 2 interceptions. Hey, y'all, the defense looked pretty good today. Pretty damn good. And if he wouldn't have went for it on the 4th down in the first quarter or second quarter, whatever quarter it was, New York wouldn't have made a field goal.
Yeah.
Like, we only put them in field goal position twice the whole game, so defense held the shit down. Hey, man, Bryce left. They were saying it's an ankle injury. Hopefully he,
Pickle has something to say about this.
Yeah.
Soon.
I'll give you the update after the call.
For the next game. And Xavier Legette, oh my God, man, that dude balled out today. That motherfucker had, 92 yards, 92, 93 yards, and a damn touchdown? Hell yeah, man. So I'm happy on this win. I was kind of nervous at first, I ain't gonna lie. I was falling into the trap game shit.
Yeah, we all were.
Damn defense, but we overcame that shit, y'all. Give me your thoughts on that. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding, brother. So, hey, man, a very good update. Shout out to Panther Pickle in the chat room. This is from Joe Person. X-rays on Bryce Young's right ankle were negative per source. Usually standard practice to follow up with an MRI in these cases. So it doesn't seem like this is anything serious. That leads me to believe that he will probably be playing against the
Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, against the Buffalo Bills, which loving. Yeah, man, dude. We wanted to talk about Xavier Legette a little bit more. Earlier. Yeah. Someone said, was this Bryce or was this Xavier Legette's breakout game? And I think it was. And I feel like the more they continue to push the ball his way, the more you're going to continue to see plays like this. And, when we went to Fan Fest together, he had that giant play across the middle of the field where he took it all the way for a touchdown. I want to see some more of those. Continue to target XL in the middle of the field, to me, which is where Bryce Young is at his most accurate. Yeah. And, that's where he's going to continue to thrive. And I want to see more of that. We have a lot of mouths to feed. And listen, I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but right now, I feel like we still have a problem with getting separation on those second and long, third and long, like even T-Mac, great possession receivers, but I still feel like we don't have that consistent separator. Am I wrong in that chat? Okay, what do y'all feel like on this? Am I wrong on that?
We were talking about this during the game. Like, there were multiple times where you would watch the replay and you're like, there was nobody open. Now, there are times when guys get open and, Bryce doesn't see him or misses the throw or something like that, or Andy Dalton doesn't get the ball out in front. Like that last play that, Xavier Legette ended up catching, like he beat that dude so bad. Like if he had put that out in front, Xavier Legette would have had 2 touchdowns. Like that would have been perfect. But that's an example of like that dude can get separation when you allow him to go downhill when he's running the ball, or when he's running a route. Do I think that this? I just don't think that we've seen these guys get separation as much as we would like, especially in those types of situations. Now we're going up against a really good defense. And Sauce Gardner, there early on in that third down play was a testament to that when he was covering Teteroa McMillan. And I don't know if that's just because this defense is that good, or are we just maybe we're not as deep at wide receiver as we were hoping.
Yeah, listen, I'm a fan of T-Mac. I like what he's done. I like how he's a great hands catcher, but part of my original hesitancy to draft him was on these long plays. I didn't feel like he was necessarily the best separator. And I'm just being honest right now. One of these guys might be a true number 1 wide receiver, but I don't feel like anyone has earned that title yet. Like, am I wrong in that assessment? Like, it's still early for T-Mac. He's going to have some big-time opportunities in the coming weeks. But, dude, just like on Thursday Night Football, when you see Jamar Chase and he's just routing up some of the best DBs in the game, it's it lets you know that there's a difference between some of these guys, like a Justin Jefferson and a Jamar Chase, versus what the Panthers have. And I think that type of number one wide receiver would help out Bryce tremendously. But hey, man, welcome back to the show. You know him, you love him. He is the professor. Tony Dunn back on the free for all. Tony, what's up, bro?
It's post game, bro. Post game.
What did I say?
Free for all.
Free for all.
Dude, I'm doing a million different things. I'm
are.
downloading calls. I'm doing all types of shit.
Well, I'm here to help
it is
now.
free for all to be happy about this big time dub that we got today. How about that?
Yeah, the Panthers win 13-6 and extend on a 3-game streak now, guys. Wasn't necessarily the most, where actually the post game or the halftime show, Gronkowski said bemoaned how boring the game was. But the Panthers, the Panthers, defense continues to be an important part of this team. And the Panthers offense moved the ball effectively enough, particularly when Rico Dowdle was in. And you saw XL continue to improve from week to week, the biggest pass catcher of the day, right? And Carolina did enough. And I don't know what the temperament and the conversation has been. I'm sure that there are some fans that would like for this to have been a more decisive victory, in a sense, one that particularly since their offense was so anemic and there were some opportunities when Tyrod Taylor got in there that they exposed a little bit, but the Panthers did enough to get a W, and that's what they got to do throughout the season. And so, we can cry or celebrate. I don't know. What has the temperature been like so far?
Well, I mean, we're happy we got a dub,
right,
dude? We've won 3 in a row now. This defense is something that we're all applauding, and rightfully so. It wasn't a great offense that we were playing, but when you look at the performance of the guys that we've paid, Derrick Brown, 2 sacks, a ton of pressures, allowing the defense to flow fast through him, and the JC Horn, Tony, those interceptions by JC, like they weren't just normal run-of-the-mill, badly thrown balls or whatever. Like JC went and snatched them fucking footballs out of the air. Dude, it just reassures you why the Panthers paid him in the first place. The dude is a monster.
2 picks on the day, and that is those are the visual plays or the optical plays that show what the player that we know JC Horn is and has been and can be. And you're right, when he turns around and he just plucks that, you're a little worried going to the ground with one hand on the ball that it's going to get. It was going to,
I was thinking the same thing.
But no, it's like I was wondering, CK, have people been commenting on is that because the Jets were so bad that they would have liked for the win to be a little bit bigger, or what's the status of Bryce Young's injury?
The X-rays came back negative, which is good.
Ankle?
He's still got to get an ankle. Yeah, it was his ankle, twisted his ankle. I was surprised that they rolled him out as quickly as they did. That was what concerned me a bit.
For the rest of the game?
Yeah, for the rest of the game, yeah. But my work, like, here's the thing is I think the temperature is there are people that are still saying there are some concerns. There's plenty of people still saying that Bryce Young is the problem. I didn't see that today. Now, I'm not saying he was the answer, but he certainly wasn't a problem in the way that he played the game. But yeah, as far as everybody is concerned, everybody's just happy that it's a win, but that there is an overarching concern about what this team is going to be able to do against Buffalo.
Yeah, and then the good news about that is that the Carolina Panthers shut out the Atlanta Falcons 30-0, and the Atlanta Falcons put the business on the Buffalo Bills, and the Panthers have stopped good rushing teams or teams that have had good rushing attacks. in the Dallas Cowboys and the Miami Dolphins. You turn around the very next week from stopping the 19, holding the Dolphins to 19 yards. And the Dolphins, I think they played maybe, who do they play the following week? But Achane was ripping off big runs. So I think the Panthers' defensive front is really is coming to life. And I don't know if we should just all of a sudden say we've got a pass rush because 6 total sacks at one point, or at least towards the end of the fourth quarter. I don't know if there was another towards the end that they got, but 6 sacks. And you had maybe Denver had 9 last week against them. So, I mean, a lot of that's on the Jets just not being good. But the Panthers, is that front has continued to, really clamp down against the run in a lot of ways. And this was probably one of the most, let's see what their stats were in rushing against us is they had 200 they only had 81 yards on the ground. It felt like in the beginning of the game they were picking up some yards on the ground. Nothing crazy, but it wasn't as suffocating as it been for the last 2 weeks. And I mean, look, this is on the road against a team that is fighting hard. And you almost like as soon as Justin Fields went out, we were almost I was a little bit more concerned about.
Because Tyrod's the more competent. Yeah, we said the same thing. Tyrod's a much more competent passer of the football. So, and they started to move the ball downfield when Tyrod came into the game. And
he gets the ball out a little quicker. A veteran knowing where to go a little bit more. And you even saw that with I think that in good news is I'm very happy. Like us losing Bryce is a detriment to this team, right? We don't get better.
You could tell it.
Yeah. You don't get better. And that's a good thing to me, right? Is that shows that while people may not be sold on Bryce overall, is that we're better when he's the quarterback than when Andy Dalton is. And, that wasn't necessarily the feeling clearly last year when that happened. And so I think that's a good thing. And I think one thing that Bryce is he can continue to do is go a little faster, right? I think the very first play that Andy Dalton threw, completion to Xavier Legette, was just the timing. He knew where he was going. He was going with the ball there right away. And I think sometimes we maybe want to see a little bit more of that from Bryce is decisiveness, quickness, trusting in his reads and that. And so I'm really happy. I mean, I think the offensive line, despite Austin Corbett, first game back, I'm surprised that he started in a little right. I don't know what the other injuries are because I felt like the offensive line was doing well with the guys they had last week, but I guess we had Damian Lewis.
Yeah, Damian Lewis was inactive, and it was really convenient that Corbett was able to come back when he did. Early in the game, they did a pull play, and Corbett and Christensen straight up
crashed into each other.
Straight up ran into each other. But before I read another super chat, Tony, I have a question for you. A lot of the discussion has been around Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard, and a lot of people feel like Rico Dowdle basically showed today when you saw them both on the field why Rico needs to be the number one running back going forward. Did you have that same assessment watching this game? Do you think it settled Rico is what this offense needs to run through?
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. When we say that too, I think, or when I say that, is that in some ways it feels like it's a knock to Chuba Hubbard. Right. And I don't want it to be that. I think it's more of
how good Rico is.
Yeah, and how good he's playing at this moment. And I think that he's that type of back every week, right? I mean, there's explosiveness, there's toughness in his running. And look, his Chuba was not bad today. It wasn't bad. He just Chuba was
there was a difference. You could see it.
Yeah. And in my assessment really is kind of the same as before. As Chuba is like a constant, steady grinder, and Rico is a guy that can do those things, can make tough runs, but also brings an explosiveness, a little bit more vision, maybe. I just didn't feel like. But then Chuba had the big screen pass play where he picked up some big yards. So I think that I was with Mark Schlereth on this, is that the idea of losing your job to injury, that whole like tradition of that,
right,
is I don't think it's right, because I don't think you're losing your job to injury. I think you're losing your job because the other guy is playing better.
Yeah, he took advantage of his opportunity and he quite literally ran with it. So yeah.
How are we doing on the calls? I know we got more. I can
Yeah,
hook up to the
I'm already kind of on a roll with them. I know where we are. I'll just take them for the rest of the show. But shout out to Solid Jakin with a $10 love bomb, but a somber one, man. Rest in peace to Doug Martin, gone too soon.
Running back,
boys. Yeah, the former running back for
Tampa Bay,
the
right?
Tampa Bay Buccaneers died. I don't even know how. Loved him at Boise and so good for the Bucs. Respected the muscle hamster a lot. Yeah, I don't know how he died. I don't know what he died of. That's
36 years old.
Yeah, it's terribly
1
sad.
hour ago on TMZ. They don't know. It does not say yet. I'll look a little bit more. That's terrible. I mean, 36 years old. Man.
That's 1 year older than me. Yeah, that's
awful. That's very sad. And yeah, he was talk about a bowling ball of a player, the muscle hamster.
Dude, incredible. Shout out to the muscle hamster. All right, let's take another call.
Baby, I'm back like this fucking famous Dick Jackson. I'm out here selling hotcakes. Yeah, Cuba the fucking hype man. Y'all fucking Lord and Savior Jesus fucking Christ. There's no way in hell that we can go from looking how we looked on this with this goddamn offense the past 2 weeks to looking like this against the fucking Jets. We can't do that shit, man. And like y'all know how I feel. I'm not even gonna get into it, but I feel like we should trade him. But that's on me. Trevor Etienne's averaging 5.1 yards a carry. Cuba's averaging 4.0. So let that just be that. We already know what fucking Rico can do. But at the end of the day, we got the job done. And shout out to fucking Ivero, my balls nigga. Yeah, shout out to you, brother. Yeah, you continue to perform like this, we'll get you that head coaching job and get you the fuck up out of here so we can get them comp picks, player. Yeah, this was a nail biter, man. This shit had me on the edge of my seat the entire game because as soon as fucking King Bryce went out, dude, Andy Dolan, it's time for you to fucking get the fuck out of here and retire. Like, it's time for you to retire. It's time to just find a good quality backup. I don't give a fuck what we got to do. But this coming off season, we definitely need to address that shit. Trayvon Mulring does not get talked enough about on this goddamn defense.
Yeah, Morg was flying around.
Dude, it's Tasmanian devil on fucking steroids, dog. Like, like I said, I got clowned for this once again. See, baby, getting clowned for shit. I know what I'm talking about. Trayvon Mulring is a safety that you want to play close to the line of scrimmage / hybrid linebacker. He is what Jeremy Chint should have been for this goddamn defense. That's how Jeremy Chint should have been used, man. And I love this 4-2-5 defense. I'm going to say it again. I love this 4-2-5 defense where we fucking put Latham Ransom back there with Nick Scott's bum ass. And we have fucking Trayvon Mulring up in the fucking box. Using that 6'3" range, using that skill. We need to find a number 2 corner. Mike Jackson is straight pure garbage.
Mike Jackson played well today.
Yeah, we got to definitely.
I'm interested in finding out what his thought process is here.
I'm over here shitting bricks because I'm worried about that shit. But like I said, we 4-3. We finally got that road win out of here. Bryce Young.
Like, does anyone else think Mike Jack didn't play well?
Y'all know who the fuck this is. It's G-Baby, and I'm out.
Dude, Mike Jack played great.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean, he's had moments where he has not been the
last week,
incredible,
for sure.
Right? And he was a really a great corner last year. Like, I mean, I would say he's almost not playing as well as he did last year. He's had some moments. I'd have to go back. I was kind of I had some things. I had to watch it on my phone, doing some things, but probably referring to is the play that got broke up. He got his arm in there. He was beat. And I mean, it's a touch. The guy makes that catch. It's a touchdown. It probably should have made the catch. It wasn't like the most insane defensive play. They're trying to get behind you. and he did get past him. I have to go back and look on who was guilty in play. It was Mike Jackson in on those overthrow opportunities that were the series before, where the Jets were really threatening to try to get back into the game, and we were fortunate that they didn't. I would not go far as to say that Mike Jackson, I would not even come close to say that he's playing like garbage. I don't know if he's playing his best football right now.
I think today was probably one of the best games I've ever seen him play.
I think it's again, you're trying to find somebody, probably G-Baby's trying to find somebody to throw some shade on at this time.
Sure.
And again, I think that kind of circles back to my sentiment, guys, is I'm that the win is needed. This was a must not lose. I'm very happy. I don't care how we win it. We don't care if we win by 1 point or not. You're kind of wanting this to be more than just stepping forward. I mean, that would be exciting if you started to get like momentum to where you're believing that this Panthers defense is really good, that this offense is really progressing. You heard the stat. I mean, Cody said that this was asking the question, are they elite and stuff like this on the podcast? And, you want to walk away and you blow these guys out 27-3, and you're just celebrating every single part of the football game. But, we haven't won on the road yet. That's a check mark. And honestly, we started out in a poor fashion, much like the New England game where you're giving up big returns right out the gate, and they get the ball like on the 50 or something like that at midfield right out, and you're like, oh gosh, is this going to be that moment? And the Panthers were able to hold them to a field goal, I think, or maybe even not a score on that. Maybe it was the next drive they got a field goal. And, it's not a sexy win against an unsexy team, but who cares is that you got three, not who cares, but like, I'd rather have this than a loss.
Yeah, I mean, I think it doesn't make you a win like this doesn't make you feel like we've taken a huge step forward outside of how well our defense played, but it does allow us to go into next week knowing that it's any given Sunday, right? And even though we are facing the Bills, even though we are facing the Packers thereafter, who certainly don't, neither one of those look, unbeatable, right? It's not as though we're playing the Chiefs right now, who look like they're playing their best ball.
But they also played the Raiders.
And the Raiders, Geno Smith certainly not playing his best ball either. But, nonetheless, my entire point really kind of hinders on this. I mean, at the end of the day, we are going to show up. We're going to play football, and every team on the rest of the schedule are honestly, it could go either way. I don't think that there's anybody on the remains on the schedule that I don't think that we have a chance at beating.
And by the way, I feel like this year in the NFL in general, there's a lot of parity. Like a lot of the good teams have lost some stinkers, and some of the bad teams have put up some great performances. Like there's a lot of parity in this NFL season. So I agree. I think we're in every single game that we're going to play. I don't think we're going to get shut out again like we did against the Patriots. But I think we still need to see a little bit more. Like you and Tony just said that Bryce Young for certain makes this offense better. And I agree. But I also think that Bryce Young has not had a standout game yet this season. I'm not trying to nitpick here, but he had some inaccurate balls that he threw today as well. And I want to see a full game from Bryce where everyone who's wide open, he hits him in stride, right in the chest. When he's throwing the ball to the back of the end zone, put it right to the back pylon so that his receivers don't have to come back to it. I think that could have been a touchdown early on to Xavier Legette. I want to see a full performance from this offense because thus far, whenever we're not, depending on the run, it's been kind of up and down. So I'm still waiting to see that offensive performance, that well-rounded offensive performance.
While I completely understand why you're saying what you're saying, I also think that I don't think I've seen a quarterback at all this season play the game you're asking for him to play. And what I mean by that is like we were talking about it. We were watching that Patriots game, right? Drake May's having a great game. he has that one third down pass that was a bad pass across the middle, and his receiver catches it with one of the most incredible catches you're going to see. That is where I'm saying, like, we're trying to nitpick because everybody isn't perfect. And what I mean by that is we're gonna pinpoint that Horn ball where he threw the ball, it hit Horn's hands, but it was a little high. Admittedly, Bryce wants that to be lower. He would love to have that back. But all of the teams that you're talking about have the better QBs. They have their wide receivers coming down with that. Let's talk about what happened in Jacksonville as an example. Now, that's an extreme example, but Trevor Lawrence had 11 drop passes from Brian Thomas.
Oof.
Right? 11 drop passes today.
The most in NFL history, by the way.
So, I mean, do we think that Trevor Lawrence's numbers reflect how well he played? No. And I don't think that's the same thing with Bryce either. I think that that play that was to the back pylon for that should have been a little bit further back if it was for Xavier Legette. I sincerely believe that was a miscommunication of some sort, because there's no offensive coordinator that's going to draw two wide receivers to the same spot. I think that had that been, if Xavier Legette wasn't there, I think that was intended to go to Jalen Coker. And I think Jalen Coker had to slow up because he saw Xavier Legette there. And I think he had a shot at it. And then but Xavier Legette also, by the way, had a shot at it. He had his hands on it. So I don't think that at the end of the day, these people aren't going to be, it was not fingerprints. He had Jimmy Horn had his entire hands on that ball. Like, you can't say it was just the fingertips. It was not.
I think Bryce is, and sure, I think part of the reason you say these things, Cody, that you want that signature game is because we want to form a confident belief going forward, and that is like this is the guy, this is the future, this team, and today that's kind of what I was hinting with is because the win was, hey, it's just a win on the road against a bad team. You pulled it out, nothing great, nothing poor in it. Kind of a boring game in a sense, is that it gives us happiness that you got a 3-game win streak, that you're improving, that everybody's getting better in so many ways. XL's improving, like all these different incrementally, but it's not like you're walking out of here going, oh, the Panthers are heading into or becoming potentially a playoff team. You're just going on to next week. But I think also that's a good thing for us, because what we have not had is that at all. And even going to Bryce's performance is that while last week, I mean, you can throw the 3 touchdowns, the perfect passer rating. I mean, it still wasn't a ton. Like, I mean, you're doing it on the back of Rico Dowdle having this giant game. But today he's 15 for 25, 138 yards, protecting the football. I mean, there's some small things. Yeah, he's like, is he the guy that's all of a sudden just dealing in dime, like, elite, and he's a top 5 quarterback? No, but Bryce is not regressing, and it has not regressed through this season. He's actually progressed from week to week, and we've seen that you do that. And today, to be honest, is that he was, and this team was not doing what they have done for the last couple of weeks, which is getting favorable down the distance. There's a lot of 3rd and 11s, 3rd and 7s, and we don't want that as much. If anything, I would like for Bryce to, I mean, I don't know. I actually am very happy. I'm happy with his play. I'm satisfied right now because it's not going backwards. It's not going backwards. It's improving. And I mean, if anything, it's that when he took that 1 sack, I'm like, gosh, Bryce, everybody's fast in the NFL. You're not getting away from that. And you're small enough that where one of these giant men can rip you down. I mean, it stunk. You kind of get out of field goal position. Now we're punting. But he's progressed. He's not turning the ball over and doing that. And so, it's not sexy. It's not underwhelming. It's not overwhelming. It's whelming at this point, but we've been so underwhelmed and sad that this is a good thing. And right now, I mean, the Carolina Panthers are, and we knew this was going to happen. You walk out of here and I knew that, like, hey, is that we're going to go, we got 3 in a row, but we're happy about that because we see progress. But a lot of Panther fans are going to be on the internet over today and tomorrow and the next few days, and people are going to be shitting on them. They're going to be shitting on the Panthers, like the outside world, right? They're
going to say we haven't played nobody.
Right. That might be true, right? Is that But here is the thing: is you play the people that are on your schedule right now. Dallas is beating the Commanders, right? And there is this parity that you're talking about. Miami has been in some game. I mean, they got destroyed today. Knew that was coming, a weather game, or at least a high winds on the road is not favorable. The Browns defense is really good. But they were in it against Buffalo, right? They contended against Buffalo. So while we have played, and look, the Jets have had some moments where they might have all losses, but we're not all like this week and last week for the Jets. There have been moments where they have hung around with teams. So you're not going to walk out of this game going, man, Bryce is the truth. The Panthers are legit. The Panthers defense is top 5 in the NFL. But, if you didn't do this today and you lost this game, you don't even get to have that. So this is good. I mean, this is all they can do. And now you're in probably the toughest stretch of the season when it comes to games. You got we got the Bills coming off a bye. That's going to be tough at home. Then you're on the road in Green Bay. I mean, if you can pull off one of those, that's going to be phenomenal. I don't think if the Panthers walk away from these next 2 weeks 0-2, though, that doesn't mean that the team is dead in the water or that they're not getting better. That's the tough stretch. And then you get one other tough stretch a little bit later. Let's see, who is it? We've got the 49ers on the road, and then we host the Rams. I mean, look, we've got the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I mean, the next 8 weeks are going to be the real story of the season now, right? Is like we could have been better. We don't have the luxury. We could have won that Cardinals game, but you really got to, if you don't pull off a win against the Bills or the Packers, you got to really make a dent in the division with the Saints and the Falcons. Then you're on the road on Monday Night Football for the 49ers and at home with the Rams. If you could split the next 6 games and go 3-3, that's like a giant win.
Well, Tony, I said to CK earlier, if we beat the Bills and the Packers, we're winning the division. You can't tell me different, bro. To me, that's what I need to see.
Division, though.
He did say that.
I understand, but I also like the fact that we're going to play Tampa Bay later on this season, so we get an opportunity to control our destiny almost back to back.
Right now, I mean, we're in it for a potential wild card. Like, even if we don't get the division, I mean, we have a wild card on the horizon. Yeah,
I mean, but you have to perform over the next 6 games.
Right.
I'm telling you, if you could just go 3-3 over the next 6 games, then I'm on board with that right away. Is that this team is for real? But I think you have a better chance of beating the Bills at home than you do the Packers on the road. I think, though, that the Bills coming off a bye is going to hurt, particularly as they've kind of had their pride and their ego hurt in this. So they're not going to they're going to be coming in looking for blood.
Rested.
There's so many players on that team that have links to the Carolina Panthers in the past. So that's going to be a meaningful game for them. And I think you need to try to split that somehow. If you can find a way to go 2-2 between the 4 games that are outside the division, because those are good teams, man. We don't want to mess around with the Rams. I don't want to play the Rams. I don't want to play the 49ers. I don't even care who's their quarterback right now. And Mac Jones, they've been a better team than I thought they would in the face of all of these injuries.
They're missing so many players right now, too.
And
the
they're
49ers.
still contending.
Yeah, they're still winning. No, Kyle
just a heads up,
probably
I'm actually going to have to
lead.
sneak and pick my daughter up, and then I'll run back. So, I mean, if we're still going by 6, I'll be back by 6:15.
Unacceptable, dog.
I'm sorry. And so I'm very important.
Yeah, we're gonna run through some more cat calls.
All right, let's go.
All right.
Baby.
Oh, we already heard that one too.
Boy, oh boy, damn! I was only 3 points off. Showtime from Lou from Fort Myers, bro. I had calls earlier, and man, I should probably put that in the sports book. But I said, bro, this was gonna be like a 10-6 game. Shit, 13-6, bro. Offense, what we doing, bro? Like, I get the Jets defense is like that. Oh, and you want to know who their defensive coordinator is?
Amen, brother.
And the blitz gave us some problems late in the game.
The man, the Mr. Legend.
Our blitz gave them the problem, too.
What I mean?
Yeah.
Even though he did lose this game. Bro, he only allowed 13 points. You know what I mean? Bryce got his ankle hurt, which, if y'all know me, bro, I'm not the biggest Bryce supporter, but I'm not the biggest hater. I'm like the second biggest hater. But what I would say is, I don't know, Andy Dalton kind of looked washed. I ain't gonna hold you. Andy Dalton kind of looked. I'm thinking Andy Dalton's gonna throw that shit down. Hell no. I ain't gonna hold y'all. This may be crazy coming from me, but I low-key want Bryce back. When I saw him get hurt, I was like, ooh.
Yes.
But,
I agree.
Hey, Leggett legacy game, I will say Andy Dalton could throw the ball down the field, make it catchable for his receivers. You know what I mean? The receivers was getting hit with the ball so damn hard, they not used to that. What, Sanders had a drop, it hit him dead in his chest. You know what I mean? Like, motherfuckers ain't used to that shit. Motherfuckers ain't used to a real quarterback throwing you the ball. But,
yeah.
I don't know. I just hope Bryce Young come back healthy, safe return. We got wins with him and shit like that, and I hope it keeps his momentum, man. Love every single one of y'all, man. Stay blessed. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. Love you, brother. Yeah, man. Dude, Tony, before you go, Xavier Leggett, was this the breakout performance that he needed? Or did you think, what did you make of Xavier Leggett? A lot of people said that this was his coming out party, that this is the XL that we've been waiting to see. Would you agree with that assessment?
9 catches, 92 yards, and touchdown. Look, I have not necessarily. I've been a fan of XL, and I was hoping that he was going to just be mashing DBs all day. I got since he came into the league, I thought he had a respectable rookie season, despite the optics of the drops and some different things. A tough start to the season. Really, such a difference in answers too. I was thinking I saw them ask Jalen Coker the same question about what he's learned when he didn't play. And remember, XL said, I didn't learn anything. I'm just ready to get out on the field. And Coker gives the diplomatic, oh, well, I had time to look at the film and I did the best with the opportunity I could. Coming out game, yeah, I guess, it's probably his best game of his career. I like that that he's stepping forward. I don't know if I'm all of a sudden going XL is the truth and he's going to be a great receiver coming out of this, but he's progressed, and this is the thing, is we've defeated so much in adversity over the last year and a half with this team, because really it felt like it was spiraling out of control for XL, and then the injury, and then it couldn't. Yeah. And today I think was a great momentum point, because while we said he had good games, the last two, was it last two or just last one? Last two, he really didn't have a lot of, statistically wasn't that impressive. I like this is that T-Mac was not really there today. And in fact, did he, he had 3 catches, 33 yards.
A couple catches
early. But yeah, this is good news. I'm walking away saying, put XL as a starter on your fantasy team. I don't know if I'm going that far, but I like the team and the way they're responding in these moments. I have a question for you guys before I go. I got a couple 2 minutes. Is coming to when I said that blitz gave us problems, CK, or that Wilkes likes to dial up the blitz when they can't generate pressure. We saw that when he was our defensive coordinator. And it made some impact. You said, well, we were dialing up the blitz and it was effective. Why do you think we were doing that? Do you think that because we've had Evero, who has been a focal point of conversation over throughout this season, is that there was that moment where Canales said he wants him to play younger players, and then he's playing younger players. After last week, there was so much chirp talk, and even in the press conferences, about asking Evero, is he going to try to generate pressure? Is he thinking about blitzing more and stuff? And then all of a sudden we're blitzing more. Do you think it was that Evero was waiting to dial this up and do this in the right moments? Or do you think he's actually just kind of responding to some of the talk?
So I think that my answer is a little harder to, I don't know that I have the right answer, but I'll tell you what I think it is. I think it's that all the quarterbacks we faced up to this point, are quick release, right? They are decisive quarterbacks. They're going to get the ball out quickly, things like that. Well, Justin Fields has been criticized this year for holding onto the ball a little bit too long. Yeah. And that has been one of the reasons that he has he's not considered one of the better quarterbacks in the league. And so I think when you're talking about dialing up pressure, you're going to force him to make those decisions. Well, in this case, it maybe didn't necessarily impact Justin Fields, but it impacted Tyrod Taylor and the two really underthrown balls that end up being interceptions, and even a couple of other underthrown balls that luckily didn't turn into a touchdown. I think it's just them having a game plan this time that is predicated on who they're playing. Do I think that they're going to maintain that level of pressure? I mean, it worked. I don't know why you wouldn't. But at the same time, we're not always going to be facing Justin Fields and Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, some quarterbacks can punish you more, that they know what to do, right? Because they, and you're going against one next week. Cody, one other thing I saw in the chat, people were talking about Mitchell Evans. People call him for should be starting tight end. I'm really excited about him as a player. What are our thoughts on Jatavian Sanders? He's been up and down after really last year coming another tight end that in their rookie year showed us so much promise. Then he got that little injury, but he did not, before he got hurt, was not having a great season for the Carolina Panthers. And now that Mitchell Evans is really making a difference.
Yeah, dude, a lot of fans like Mitchell Evans and Tommy Tremble's play better than Jatavian Sanders. And I think in a very short amount of time, Mitchell Evans has turned into a key piece of this offense. I mean, they went to him early, and they don't mind using him in the passing department. And that was one of the areas where, when he was at Notre Dame, they didn't really use him as a passing threat all the time. But now you're starting to see more and more. They trust him on the line of scrimmage to be able to block. They trust him down the seam. And he really has proven to be a key part of this offense. The coaching staff loves him. And I feel like every week we're talking about another great play made by Mitchell Evans. I think we're going to continue to see more from him. And Jatavian Sanders has a lot of competition around him. If he wants to prove himself to this team and to
Tremble's
this offense,
playing tough.
I've always liked Tremble.
Played well.
Tremble's
all right,
played
I'm gonna
well.
run, guys. I'm gonna run real quick. I'll be back as soon as I can. Hopefully, I'll be back in time to catch some more calls and talk.
You got it.
All right, boys. All right, let's take another call.
C3, what's good, man? Hey, I'm just calling in after this victory. We 4-3. Should be celebrating. That was a tough win on the road, and you were missing your starting quarterback for second half of the game. That's we're 4-3. JC, reminding Cat why you do not try him. That man genuinely might have the best hands on the field. XL, great game. 90 plus yards receiving, touchdown. Bruh. That the whole running back situation, I believe that they should start Rico. I'm pretty sure a lot of other people are going to reiterate this also. You should start Rico, let him get a rhythm. And Chuba comes in if Rico breaks off a long run or if Rico looks like he's gassed. But Rico should be the starter. It shouldn't be a drive by drive. It should be Rico starting.
I agree.
Let him get his rhythm. If he breaks one, then you can bring Chuba in as that hammer, that power runner that he is. But I think the offense could have been a little bit more efficient today if that had been the case. But a win's a win. There are going to be things to learn from it. I trust Canals, the company, to figure that out. And hopefully we get Bryce back for this upcoming match against the Bills. But, hey, we won today. We 4-3. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. Dude, I feel like most of the fan base is ready to let Rico just be the full-time runner.
Yeah. I mean, give me a reason he shouldn't.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really is.
Like, here's the deal. You can't, what I don't think you can do is say, well, Chuba has performed well in the past for us and we just paid him, so we've got to keep him in there and let him have an opportunity. when you have a guy playing the way that Rico is playing, like today was a down day. He was splitting half of the drives, and he still almost broke 100 yards without any big plays. Like maybe one screen pass that ended up being a big play. Outside of that, tell me what he did that was that should warrant him having 100 yards or almost 100 yards with as limited touches as he had. Especially against this defense. Like, we couldn't get anything going. We were 4th and 1. Rico couldn't get anything going. But somehow this dude was still able to accumulate very close to 100 yards. I think that, and that's half of the touches. Like, I think that's important to understand that that's the difference here. He did this with this half of the touches he had the past couple of weeks. So on pace for something that he did last week or the week before, potentially. Because you know that the way that this whole thing works with defenses is it's going to eventually break open. Like, that's just going to eventually, these guys are going, they're rhythm, like, especially Rico. I think it's pretty clear we can see he's a rhythm guy. And once you get, like, last week, he didn't start out like blowing down the doors, but that second drive, he was just like taking everybody's lunch money.
Yeah. Hey, I wanted to ask you this too. OG Panther 88 says, can we agree Canales' offense is not the problem? Yeah, I feel like there have been times this season where I didn't love the play calling, but overall, I don't think that the offensive scheme or what they decide to do on offense is the issue. I just think that we need better play from our players most of the time, and I'm hoping that we're trending in that direction. But like I said, I would like to see some more separation. I would like to see Bryce put the ball on the money a little bit more, but for the most part, I have no problem with this offense as it's being called.
Sure. I mean, I'm not going to say that I think that he is growing as a play caller, and it's becoming a little bit more, we could see a little bit more easily what's going on. The argument that I would say is that in the past, the frustration has been his lack of commitment to the run, right? In the past 2 weeks prior to this week, he's done the committing even when he shouldn't have. Down 17-0 to the Dolphins, committing to the run sounded like a dumb decision, but he decided to do it. He's learned from the idea that the moment that things get out of hand is when you stop becoming unpredictable. And that's one of the things that they were talking about. I think somebody was talking about it, like, or it maybe Bryce Young had said it, like Dave Canales' play calling is unpredictable. And that is part. Now, granted, I did predict we're 3rd and 20, they're going to screenplay. We knew that much because they're just not. It's almost like they'd rather not have a big mistake rather than try to win the game. That does bother me a little bit. But at the same time, like, I do agree that it's gotten better, but I don't think it's necessarily because he's had a good offense from the beginning of the season.
Yeah. And the more time we see with Jalen Coker, the more we see some of these offensive weapons start to come around and play better. I think that we're going to continue to see the full dearth of Dave Canales' offense. Let me see if I played this call.
Boy, oh boy. Damn, I was only 3 points.
Yeah, we did. Okay.
Well, C3 Legion. It's the Hope Dilla checking in real quick.
Oh, Dilla, what up?
How about it? That win on the road versus the New York Jets today, baby. We are 4-3. What they say, that's the first time we had a winning record since 2021?
Yep.
Man, I love it. I love to see it, man. How about J.C. Horn, the 2 interceptions? Man, Derrick Brown causing all kind of havoc. And Xavier Legette, we called him extra lotion. But, he wiped the lotion off today, man, because he caught that ball. How about that?
Yes, sir.
I'm just happy for the win. I hate that it was as close as it was. I had some critiques, but, we'll talk about that after Tuesday or on Tuesday's show, man, when I can process it. But, hey, a win's a win. A win on the road in the NFL is big. So I'm just grateful to hear it. I'm grateful to see it.
Yep.
But I do got a quick question for y'all.
Yeah, man.
With the way that the defense has been playing, and EJ, I know we've been critical, but at some point, if we continue to play like this, we may have to talk about a contract extension for Evero. I don't know yet. You still got to show us. But give me y'all thoughts. Once again, it's the Hope Dealer checking in. Hope everybody is out there enjoying this Sunday. Enjoy this win, baby. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding. CK, I was of the mindset that no matter what happened this year, this was Avero's last year. Because he was going to be terrible enough that we wouldn't want him back, or he was going to be good enough that somebody would potentially even be wanting to get him as a coach, or because he had gotten some play before. He had gotten some interviews, some coaching interviews. So, I'm not sure, maybe that'll happen for him. Now it's one of those things where I feel like anything can happen.
I agree.
But yeah, if this defense continues to be a big reason why we're winning football games down the road, you might have to embrace that reality that maybe we should be giving him an extension. I still don't love the fact that we run a 3-4, but he might deserve it.
Right. Listen, I'll be the first to say I didn't want Evero back this year. And here we are, we're doing some great things, right? I still think that it's same thing that I'm giving some credit for Dave Canales. He's learned, I think, from just deciding to play his guys instead of trying to develop some of this young talent. And here we are, some of this young talent's having big impacts on the game. My only thing with that I worry about, number one, I don't even know if I have to say I worry about it, but there's not a 0% chance that he doesn't want to come back. Right. Like, I mean, this dude has been beaten up by Carolina Panthers fans for 3 years now. Like, I don't know that he is going to. Now, the other part of this, I wonder, is with what we have as far as talent on the field, on that defense, Derrick Brown, JC Horn, things like that. Is there a possibility that there's a defensive coordinator that's going to get more out of this defense than even what Evero is doing? And that's an argument that I'm willing to entertain. I don't want to just go into next season saying that Evero deserves a contract extension just because of how things have gone so far this year. Yeah. Because, I mean, against high-powered offenses, his defense still hasn't always held up, right? Outside of we held them to some running, two potent running attacks to under 50 yards 2 weeks in a row. Like, they still destroyed us in the air, meaning the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
So I'm not willing to overlook that. We have had people run 200 yards on us this year as well. Like, now this week against the Bills, we do something similar. Okay, now you've got my attention.
Well, since we were able to get more sacks today and we utilized the blitz far more than we have in the past, do you think maybe that might be a new wrinkle that Ejiro Evero is wanting to factor into this more? I mean, look, we had 5 sacks on the year through this point, and then we got 6 today. So to me, bringing an extra defender, to me, that might be the extra thing that we need to really sort of break open the amount of pressure that we're putting on opposing quarterbacks. Right. And by the way, we have Josh Allen coming up. So if you're going to keep that guy under center and keep him inside the pocket, it might help to have that extra blitzer coming at him.
I think that you've got to start implementing the blitz. It got home today. It worked. Josh Allen has been known to hold on to the ball a little bit longer because he wants that big hit down the field. He also has been known to hold on just until he's forced to actually escape. So I think you almost have to make him beat you, because what I don't want to have happen is James Cook start to run all over us and feel like they just have the ability. Because that dude is if you think that anybody we faced up to this point is a game changer, James Cook is. I've seen too many games that he's put on his shoulders, even with Josh Allen there in the backfield. And I think this might be our toughest test up to this point as far as a quality of running back.
Yeah. No, great point, man. All right, let's take another call.
Well.
No, I heard that.
This is Rashad.
Rashad, what's up, bro?
4-3. And all I got to say is Rico, Derrick Brown, and JC Horn. Good win. It's time to let Rico ride. I prefer Rico. Chuba can be the backup. He can get those backup kids, or they can start Rico and do the first half, second half thing. But you know, we got to resign this dude. I don't give a damn about no Chuba. We got to resign Rico. He run better, in my opinion. And that's all I got to say.
Keep pounding.
Let's
take another call. What was that? All right. Having some technical difficulties there on his end. Let's take another one.
Yeah, I think the debate's over between Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle is the better running back. Every time he gets the ball, he at least gets yardage. Chuba just doesn't look the same yet. I think that we don't need to keep doing this elementary style running where it's one drive Chuba, one drive Rico. I think he needs to switch it up and just leave it as Rico is right now. Run with the hot hand, as we would say. But let's go Panthers.
Keep pounding. So apparently, Bryce Young is in a walking boot.
Interesting.
Maybe that's just precautionary. Hopefully that's just precautionary. But that is the truth of the matter. I don't know, man. We'll have to see. To me, this offense runs through the run game. But we obviously want Bryce. But I'm also not worried. The X-ray said that everything kind of came out pretty clear. So I think we just need to
Yeah. I mean, he was walking like to the locker room with a little bit of a limp, but I don't think that I felt like what he was, the way he was walking didn't concern me. It wasn't like an Achilles. At least it didn't feel like it based on what we saw. But I mean, I guess we're going to see. Now, I will say that does bring up an interesting question because Panther Pickle is talking about Hooker. And so here's my question. Do we think the Panthers have a chance to win with Dalton as the quarterback against the Bills?
Dude, I'm not just going to sit here and say no. I don't think that we have no chance. I think that we have a better chance with Bryce, but I don't think we have no chance.
But here's my question. Do you feel like it's that much of a difference with Hooker on the field?
I mean, I haven't seen Hooker. I don't know what he's been able to, do on the practice field.
Sure.
We've never seen him in this offense. No, I mean, I would feel more confident in Andy Dalton than Hooker just because I haven't seen Hooker. I don't know what to think about Hendon Hooker and what he could do in this offense.
I mean, the reason I ask is because I think I would rather see Hooker in this lineup if Bryce Young is hurt than I would see Andy Dalton. Now, that's not because I think Andy Dalton is just that god-awful. I think we need to start looking at life after Dalton. And if we don't think we have as much of a shot to win with Bryce Young or without Bryce Young there, it might be worth the effort to see what we have in Hendon Hooker. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to work, but I mean, the dude did look good at Tennessee. He looked horrible in Detroit when he had his opportunities, to be fair. So I don't know what to expect from that, but I think we've got to at least give it a shot, at some point in the year that we see what he's got.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, no, I don't know, man. Like, I'm hoping that this is not a very long-term injury. I'm hoping that this is just something that I'll have to work through maybe throughout the week. But I don't know, man. It's a next man up league. So if you're not able to win with your starters, you have to win with your backups. And I think that the best teams in the NFL can do that. It's going to be a big test for us, no doubt. Let's take another call.
Yeah, I think the debate's over between.
Yeah, we heard that one.
Yeah, I think the debate's over between.
Oh, I got two of them.
Hey guys, this is Panther Pickle. I just wanted to say, shout out to my Panthers. We are 4-3. It was a off and on game. Little bit of rough playage. I don't think Austin Corbett played good enough to start another game, regardless of some of the issues behind him. But I'm not a coach. I don't know that maybe he was still dealing with the injuries. I never thought Chuba had repercussions of the injury, but he could be. All that being said, we'll see moving forward. I do hope Bryce is good. If Bryce ain't good for next week, I expect him to move up my man Hendon Hooker off the practice squad, even if it's just for a one gamer. All that being said, shout out to Xavier Legette for his excellent game today. And I hope this quiets the crowds, the few people who are saying we need to draft the number 2 wide receiver, with the first pick in the draft. And I do not think that's advisable. Keep pounding, y'all. This is Panther Pickle, and I'm always here for C3. Keep pounding.
Yes, sir, Panther Pickle. Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know why anyone would even be talking about the draft right now, man. There's more football left to be played. You know, to me, it's sort of redundant.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think it's just because we had already started the draft conversation in the past 2 weeks, and once we open that can of worms, I think it's going to be next to impossible to shut it. It's just a natural progression. There's a lot of people who are looking at this team as frauds, right? A lot of fans are looking at this as a fake, nothing to really be excited about. We haven't seen anything of real value to indicate that we are a top tier unit. I don't entirely disagree. I think there is going to be a portion of this that might be fool's gold, but I don't think it's worthy of us, looking at the draft right now. I think we still have a lot to look forward to with this offense and this defense still showing growth week in and week out. And there's going to be setbacks. There's going to be things that make us wish that we had done things differently. But at this point in time, I'm willing to give it the entire season before I'm starting to look at the off-season plans we have.
Yeah, for sure. Way too early. All right, 2 more calls. We might not be here when Tony gets back. 2 more calls.
Yo, this is your favorite Bucks fan, Tobias, calling out of Phoenix.
What's up,
All
Tobias?
right, partly one of my fandoms is Alabama. I'm a big Alabama fan, my favorite team. So I still believe in Bryce Young. And Bomani Jones made a point that, hey, they ain't but so many franchise quarterbacks. Most quarterbacks are starting quarterbacks. And you just want a starting quarterback because it could be worse. It could be the Jets of Justin Fields, the Saints of Rattler, things of that sort. But I know fans maybe think, oh, we should have blown out the Jets more. Hey, the Jets was up on my Buccaneers, and the Bucks had to make a game-winning drive to kick the field goal. This is the NFL. A win is a win. And where the Panthers were 2 years ago, they need to be worried about stacking wins, not winning beauty contests. Now, I don't think the Panthers are a playoff team. I think you guys won 5 games last year. If you guys get to 7 or 8, that's good progress. But I got a question. I'll take it off the air. I think Dave Canales, do you guys think that he made a mistake not playing these guys more in the preseason? Because there's a lot of young guys there who could use the reps, and they could probably improve their timing. And I just take that off the air. Keep up the great work, gentlemen.
Appreciate you, Dan. Man, that's a great call. Me and CK have differed on this. I don't think that it makes a whole bunch of difference. CK thinks that it does. I don't know that those 2 first games, the Jaguars and the Cardinals, I don't know that those games are wins if we played them more in the preseason, although I do think that we have young players that do need reps. So I don't know. I just at this point I just don't feel too strongly about this. I don't know how many of those games would have equaled a win if we would have played more. But this has been a story for the past 2 years now. A lot of people want more reps from our starters in the preseason.
I think that maybe not the Jags game, but I think that Cardinals game would have been. I think it would have looked a lot different. Do I think it would have been a guaranteed win? I don't think anybody can. I'm not naive enough to say that I think that that's going to be the case. Now, I think that we would have won at least one of those 3 that we lost at the beginning of the season. Like, I do think that. Now, Which one, I don't know, but I do think that cohesiveness that you get from in an offense, from playing together, getting your timing down, things like that, I think that would have absolutely been helpful with this team.
Yeah. Hey, man, like I said, I'm willing to be wrong about this, but we will see. I believe this is our last call.
C3, Tony Lack, CK. I know Tony had to run real quick, but hey, man, this is Levi from Columbia SC.
What's up, Levi?
And hey, we rolling. We rolling.
Yes, sir.
Rolling like we ought to be doing right now with somebody like Rico rolling and running the rock. Chuba, yes, needs to be backing him up. I just say that because obviously Rico
Weird audio feedback.
out differently. Every type of different way you could think of, man. I mean, I like what Chuba does as far as how he does what he does, but he's got the high hand and he's also got the running style we need. How should I say? The running style we need. That being said,
I appreciate you, brother. Your audio's killing you, man. But I appreciate the call, man. CK, dude, this has been another big win. We needed this so bad, dude.
You're not kidding, dude.
So bad, man. So bad. And listen, we're in a spot that I didn't think we would be in. I really didn't. But this team has continued to show resolve, fight, and we've battled through injuries. And CK, that's another reason why I'm not just going to say, oh, well, Bryce is out or could be out for the Buffalo Bills game, so therefore it's an L. Like, we've played through a bunch of injuries and still found a way to stabilize and maintain success and pull out a dub. I also know that Andy Dalton, even though it's been against lesser opponents, has stepped up before and won some games for us in a pinch when we needed him. So, you know, I'm liking where this team is at moving forward, and we just have to continue to ride that wave, baby. I'm loving it. Loving where we're at.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it.
Yes, sir. Well, this has been another edition of the C3 Panthers podcast. My name is Cody Lashing. That's CK. Codizzle Allen. You saw the professor earlier, Tony Dunn. We will be back Tuesday night at 9 p.m. for another flagship edition of the C3 Panthers podcast. Panther faithful, we are 4-3, damn it. Celebrate. Have a wonderful Sunday evening. Enjoy the rest of your week. Be healthy, safe, and blessed. C3 Legion. Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.